So Britain is in massive trouble at the minute. Let me tell you why. Recent data has shown that our welfare bill has ballooned to £333 billion every year. And that now has exceeded the money that the government raises in income tax, which stands at £331 billion. So if you take a second to think about that, we're dishing out more in benefits and handouts than we actually raise in taxes. If you were to apply that on a personal level, if my spending habits exceeded more than my income, you don't have to be a genius to see how this ends up. Maybe I can get away with a little bit if we fudge some figures, if we take out a few loans, we can get away with this for a little bit of time, but eventually we run out of line and rubber meets road and we get hurt in this process. And it's no different at a government level. So we've got a government, a far left government, that has tweaked the system and played around with it so much, and is continually hands out so much money. And this was before as well. They raised the 2-child benefit cap, so now that'll go up even more. The welfare bill will balloon for all the people that have multiple kids. They will be looked after using somebody else's money. And we don't have this money. That's the original point. It's not like we're balancing the books. We don't have this money. So we're at a point now where our government is borrowing money to hand out in freebies to win voters over, and the interest on that money that we borrow is climbing and climbing and climbing to an all-time high. So you see how we're in an absolute screwed up scenario where there's a real chance in the not too distant future that Britain's going to go bust. And as usual, when this happens, it'll be Labour's fault and they'll just walk away from the train crash. Once they've derailed this country, they've brought in so much in their short time that they've been in that have destroyed businesses, that have destroyed the tax base. They've gone after farmers. They've cut winter fuel allowance. They burn through our money in all these different types of nonsense schemes, whether it be foreign aid. I know that was already in place beforehand, but it's a waste of our money. On the whole asylum system is tens of billions a year. Net zero, which is something that we will never achieve the world over. And why should we anyway? We're such a small portion of the world population. We're not going to achieve net zero. Complex civilizations require really cheap, abundant energy. You're not going to get that from intermittent solar and wind energy. You're not going to get that from these sources. And the resources and the money that you have to pool in to get the copper, the silver, the aluminium, all these metals and minerals out the ground to make those things, it's an astronomical task that the government simply haven't thought about. In fact, no, I'm going to take that back. They have thought about it. They just want to degrade our lives, because I don't want to come at this from the angle that the government are naive, because they're not naive. They do this on purpose. Keir Starmer's mission is to destroy Britain because he's working for his creditors above him. He's not working for the British people. So his job is to destroy Britain and also get us attached back to the EU. So that's what this guy's working towards. He's created a 2-tier system that we all know about. He's gone after, like I say, farmers. He's messed with the tax system, which means it's harder for businesses to get by. He does all this on purpose. He's not a stupid man by any means. And his goal is to get us back to the EU. And Andy Burnham's the same. If that clown Andy Burnham gets in charge, he's the exact same person. His goal is to attach us back to the EU. And the scary part is that there are still people after all of this that are going out and voting for Labour. They have such a hardcore far left contingency that never changes their mind. And when you think about that, that means that your party can never do any wrong and that people will never change their mind. It's quite a scary concept, because it means Labour could literally do anything to this country and they'll still, no matter what, always get probably a quarter of the vote. No matter what, no matter how much destruction that they cause, they will always secure a large number of the UK vote. And that's really scary, because as people do bad things, the public should be able to spot that and then change their mind depending on the course of action needed. But we don't have a lot of our population that have the ability to do that. They've got like a football mindset. I'm a red and I'm red my whole life, or I'm a blue for that matter and I'm blue my whole life. I don't care what my team does. I've got to support them through thick and thin. And we're watching the destruction of the UK unfold in real time. We're watching our national debt at an all-time high. We're watching our welfare bill spiral out of control. We're watching it surpass tax receipts. We're watching the interest on the debt climb, which means we're getting to the point soon that we won't even be able to pay our interest payments, let alone the fundamental debt, the massive pile of debt that is below that. These are scary times. The UK at the minute, and everybody should be able to feel this, there's a danger in the air. I've never felt it this bad. It's like a cloud over the UK. Everything at the minute is bad. Every time you pick up the paper, every time you look at the TV, every time you read the news, we're on a real bad course. You know, it isn't difficult to see. It's like being on a boat and we're in a thunderstorm and there are icebergs ahead and the captain's drunk. You don't need to be a genius to say what the recipe will be. Can I predict when and which iceberg we hit? Probably not. I can't see out, but I can pretty much guarantee you we're going to hit an iceberg and we're going to go down at some point. You only have to put the data together, the data points, and see what direction Britain is heading. And it's not been going in a good direction. Now, I'm going to take this back to the people. And for the longest of times, the people have just been content sat there doing nothing. Most people, they want to have a good time on a weekend. They work throughout the week. They've got chosen things to do, but they want to stay out of politics. I'm sorry, guys, that does not work anymore. This isn't one of them things where you can leave your life and the standards of your living in a random stranger's hands and think that they've got your best interests at heart. The amount of people that I speak to that don't really care about politics or say that they don't. Oh, I don't vote me. I'm not interested in that. I don't do these things. It's all rigged anyway. They're all interested in their own things. Well, that's why our country's being destroyed, guys. You've got to get involved. You've got to understand how things work again. I mean, we need really, for example, just the net zero, we need really cheap energy to build civilization. Not only that, it stretches further, but the inputs of everything, if you are out to have a business and to make a product, that product might be made from thousands of different products, from plastics to metals to various alloys or what have you, or various chemicals, and all those things, if all those things are going up and up and up, then the cost of the product will go up and up and up, which means people won't be able to afford it. So we can't build a really high quality civilization based on energy that's intermittent, that doesn't go too far. And it's not even cheap to build wind turbines and to build solar panels. The costs, you've got to mine all these materials. You've got to mine mercury and copper and silver, which is becoming, in a world of depletion, these things aren't always easy to get hold of. There's still all these materials out there, but they're in mines that are deeper and deeper under the ground and that are further away and that are harder to extract. Essentially, it's the same with oil. All the world's easy oil, where you just pop a big straw in the ground and then extract it, they've all been found now. That doesn't mean that there's no oil out there, but it's harder to get to. A lot of the time it's offshore. It involves really complex drilling into the Earth's crust and what have you. It involves even like shale fracking and using chemicals to shake it out the ground and get gases out the ground and things. It requires more tools and more money to get that stuff. We need the cheapest of energy, like nuclear, and we still need to be using oil and gas because it is so versatile and it's still so cheap and so abundant. But as a result, we're trying to switch over to net zero. And not only is there a huge financial cost to this, there's such a social cost to it. Our standard of living is going down drastically at a time when the world is really unstable and there's a lot of wars going on. You know, you've got the Iran war and then you've got the Russia-Ukraine war. And these are all regions that are heavily commodity-based. So that you can see the prices of oil and everything else fluctuate. We need price stability for our own interests. And we have oil at the top of our shores that we're not getting because Labour and far left grifters have told us that getting that oil is yucky and dirty. So what we'll do, instead of getting cheap energy out the ground and then using it for ourselves, we'll just have the bills of our normal citizens go up 3 times as we import the gas, as we import the oil, as we import our energy. So the other people are still getting it using those dirty methods. But we won't do those dirty methods ourselves because we're too good for that. So we'll just pay a fortune to import it. This isn't the attitude and the mindset of a healthy nation that has a future. Take a think about that.